It's a Leggett podcast. I don't know what episode it is, but it's the year 2020.
We've made it. Nearly a year.
Yeah. When's our 14th of Feb? Is it 2020? 13th of Feb? A year since.
3rd of February.
3rd of Feb. Sorry, mate. Yeah. 3rd of Feb since we first started it. We've been a little bit. So this is going to go out on the 6th of Jan. So you're listening to this on the 6th of Jan.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be obviously we've been slacking a little bit.
It's about a month. That will have been.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a bit shitty to kind of like this, but it's been so nice having people like pulling me over a pint and seeing me and go, Andy, where the fuck's this podcast? So it's. I apologise, but it's been nice to know that the support's been there. Still there, yeah. You know, it's not wavering. No. The support is there, which is great to know, and it's brilliant. So I really appreciate everyone when they come up and whether it's at the match or out shopping or over a beer, and they just mate, the podcast is great. It's been awesome. So I apologise for the lack of it the last few weeks. Yeah.
Someone said, have you and Andy fallen out or something? On the yeah, one of my mates. Just decided to just knock it on the head.
Well, I was skiing in Colorado for 10 days. Then you were out in the States for a week, was you?
Yeah.
And then it was Christmas, and then it was New Year, and then we're here.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah. There's a few... What I thought would be quite good to talk about, obviously, it's now the 6th of Jan. Obviously, people are driving probably to work and things like that, and people have started off these New Year's resolutions, things like that. But, so I've got some... interesting stories which I pulled together of the past decade.
Oh,
right, which is just some of the stuff is insane. But before we talk about that, what I wanted to ask was, personally, actually, what was Colorado like?
Oh, amazing! It was amazing, yeah. It was. If anyone's ever skied in Europe, that's where I learned how to ski in Europe, and it was great. But out there, just like everything American, everything's just fucking big. Whether it's a burger or a ski slope, everything's just bigger, isn't it? Bigger and better. Yeah. And I got into a bit of shit with the instructor. So how it works is it was a ski trip called Ski Spectacular, and it's a load of disabled people from America, from kids to grown-ups, and then they have a part of it that's American injured soldiers or disabled soldiers and British disabled soldiers. So it was 13 of us that went on the trip, and you have an instructor with us and a volunteer, and it's fantastic. I struck lucky. I had a couple of great people skiing with me. And like I said, I can already ski quite a bit, so I was at a good level to start with. But this instructor I had, you could just tell she was a bit cautious. She was like in her 50s, 60s, a great skier, but you can tell was a bit, had the kind of, wouldn't let go of the lead on me. She was just like, just...
Be careful.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Andy, be careful.
It was, because I was used to skiing in Europe, where it was a load of, small runs, not very wide, and all that, out there. And there was not many people there as well. So you just had these massive expansive runs that just went on forever.
No forest, or like little forest.
Yeah, forest runs,
the
piste themselves, though, were just so amazing. You could fucking pick some speed up. So I was just... She's going, was you in control then? I was like, yeah. She was like, you didn't fucking look at it. I was like, hey. I was trying to get as fast as I could. I think I got 42 mile an hour was the fastest.
I saw it on your Instagram, yeah. It's
But
quick that though, isn't it? When you think when you're in a car, 40 miles an hour is not like slow. But
when you're just flying past it, and because if you go, you're going. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. No, it was brilliant. Drank every day though. It was tough by the end. The jet lag and the high altitude. You're skiing at, I think it was 4,000 meters high. Like 20,000 foot, I think it's that. No, 12,000 foot. Yeah, 12,000 foot, 4,000 meters. So you couldn't breathe much. Well, you could, but I mean, it was a bit... You knew you were at altitude, put it that way. But it was amazing.
Whereabouts in Colorado?
It was called Breckenridge.
Breckenridge. Yeah. Near Snowmass Village or any of them?
No.
Aspen, not Aspen.
Not far from Aspen.
Not far from that, yeah.
A couple of hours, I think.
Yeah.
I actually drove a big, massive Cadillac, is it?
Yeah.
Out there. I was fucking a bit nervous driving that. That was the scariest part of the trip.
I did it in Toronto.
Driving from... My mate drove all the way from Denver to Breckenridge. All I had to do was drive from the airport back to the hire car place, only 5 minutes. Fucking shitting myself.
It's like a wagon, isn't it?
Yeah. And obviously you're on the wrong side. The wheel is and on the road.
Yeah.
I was flapping over that.
Yeah.
But no, really good trip. Good bunch of lads out there. Met some really nice people.
Also all ex-servicemen?
Yeah, so it's a charity called BLESMA, which stands for the British Limbless Ex-Servicemen Association. So basically, if you've lost a limb and you've served, then you're eligible for this charity. And I don't tend to do anything with charities now because I feel like I'm not an injured soldier anymore. Do you know what I mean? I was, and I've done a lot of stuff with Help for Heroes and the Royal Marines charity and stuff, but now I'm back to being like a scouser again now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really... And not that I'm not proud of being in the Marines, but it's that's a part of my life that's done. You know, I don't want to be like Uncle Albert talking about it all the time. And
well, it'll be in nearly 11 years.
Well, it's 11 years in February, yeah, since I was blown up. And don't get me wrong, as much as I talk about it for my day job, and I'm not really this kind of military man anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the trip was good, and I'm not knocking the trip, but there was just some people on the trip who've maybe done. You know, there's this one guy, I think, I wasn't there, thankfully, because I would have ended up laughing at him. But he, you know, we're all civvies again now. You know, none of us are military. And I think my friend Nikki, she was having a beer or something, and this other guy said something to her, and she told him to fuck off or something. And he was like, yeah, fucking done 20 years in the Navy or something. And she was like, yeah, 20 years ago. Like, fucking, we're both civvies now, mate. Fuck up, you know. And it's that kind of thing. Some people still think they're in the military in that sense, and I'm kind of very much... Listen, I'm here to have a week skiing. It's great. But I'm not military anymore.
No.
So it was good to do. Great experience. And the only reason I'd done it was because they run this trip to Colorado every December. And I've put in for it for ages and never ever got it. And this year I thankfully got it.
So you have to actually put in to get it?
Yeah, it's a really popular trip. Yeah, so you just put your name down. Yeah, exactly. And all you need is your beer money. Do you know what I mean?
They pay for flights and stuff.
Yeah, flights, hotels, skiing, ski hire, everything's paid for. So it's an amazing charity, BLESMA. I always tell people to kind of support that. If they are going to support a military charity, I always say that it's a good one to support.
And skiing wise then, so exactly the same clips and everything?
Yeah, so I've got friends who I'll tell you a scary story actually from one of my friends, Mark, a guy I met over there. He was ex-Royal Marine and he had a stroke. So even though British, it stands for the British Limbless Ex-Servicemen Association, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have lost a limb. It's lost the use of a limb. So this guy Mark's had a stroke.
Just completely out of the blue, like random.
Oh mate, so he's in the Marines, fit as fuck, you know, top of his game, and he done a triathlon, I think it was. Oh, it's quite a. He was telling me, and I was like gripped by this story. And he stopped off at a service station. He'd just done this triathlon. He was driving home, and he's sitting in his car, just parked up, and he just felt this stroke come over him. And he just lost the use of his whole one side.
Jesus.
And he's telling me like he's having to try and lift his arm up. Can't even lift it up, you know, to unhook the door.
To try and get help or something.
To try and, yeah, because he's on his own in a car in a service station. And he manages to like hook the handle and then just lean on the door. And then the door opens, he falls out the car. And thankfully someone's seen him, but he'd been on the show for half an hour.
Jesus.
And he come on the trip, I got to know him. So he's all there with it. He just struggles with his speech, and obviously one side of him, his hand's a bit like a claw, and he's got like he has to wear like an ankle thing that sends shocks, I think, in his leg and makes him like a splint. I think it is on his ankle. But what's really funny though, I can laugh because he's my mate and we're all disabled together. So hopefully no one else takes offence to it. But so when he's talking, to one of the procedures he uses if he's losing his train of thought was he counts. He'll randomly just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll help him get, you know, what he's thinking about. And we were at breakfast one morning, and she's like, "Hi, what would you like for breakfast?" And I said, like, eggs, royale, or whatever it was. And he said, poached eggs, please. And she said, "How do you want your eggs?" And he went, 1, 2, 3, 4, poached eggs, please. He only meant to say poached, but he just went, 1, 2, 3, 4 poached eggs, please. And she brought him 4 poached eggs, which was brilliant. So he's a really good guy. Met him. And then, yeah, just people who have lost their legs in Afghanistan. A few of us have been blown up. I mean, mate Craig, he's lost his leg above the knee. So he sits in a sit ski.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just whizzing about on. He's kind of got 2 rudders on both arms and just one single ski in like this bucket that you sit in. He's a fantastic skier, Craig. There's another guy, Dom, who'd been blown up, lost his leg below the knee. So me and him just ski normal. A couple of guys who were visually impaired skiing. And it was just really humbling to see all these disabilities who are just absolutely nailing it on the slopes.
Flying down,
it's just such a... I think skiing is the most inclusive sport there probably is, because you got people who obviously amputees, triple amputees skiing, or sort of triple amputees skiing. It's fucking mental. Do you know what I mean? Guy with one arm just flying, 30 mile an hour.
30 mile an hour down a red run.
And then, but even people who were, I don't know what injury, what disability you'd say, but like can't do anything. You just sit them in a ski and then push them. The instructor will push them like a pram almost.
Jesus.
So they're still getting the benefit of flying down a hill. It's a really inclusive sport, and the Americans do it really well.
It's a cracking sport, isn't it? I remember like in Austria and when I've been skiing Zalmsee and a few other places, it's just like, obviously a lot younger, but just like the hotels are cracking, just so much fun on like literally from like 8 a.m. through to like 5 p.m. Then obviously there's beer, bars and what. It's just
the culture about it's great.
Yeah, it is cracking. Yeah,
and
really
my one pet hate, and I think it's speaking to lads in Bootle and friends and family in Bootle, and it's an affluent sport, isn't it? You've got to have money to do it.
The ski passes aren't cheap, and the flights and
a lot of people in Bootle haven't done it. I certainly would never have done it if it wasn't for the military. And I hate it when you talk to people, like, for example, my sisters, or I spoke to people about it, and they're like, it'd be freezing. I don't want to do that in the snow on a mountain, fucking cold, windy. It's fucking not like that.
No.
Sometimes it obviously is a bit cold, but you're flying down hills, you're with all your friends, you're laughing about it. It's not like what you'd think.
It's warm in the sunshine, fucking boiling.
You get sunburned, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it is such an expensive sport, because it's a sport that can make you see the world, in a different way. You're hanging around on streets and, getting up to no good like bloody I did when I was a kid. If someone had took me and said, look, actually, you know what, there's a place there just only in France you can go to and learn this new sport. Bloody hell, I might have became a ski instructor for the winters. You never know. Do you know what I mean? It's like that saying, you don't know what you don't know. I don't even think I knew what fucking skiing was, up until I was fucking 17 and joined the Marines. If someone had said to me at 14, 15, 16, my school certainly didn't provide any ski trips.
No.
So
even chill factor is expensive at Manchester. Like, that's not cheap.
Really expensive. It's shit, to be honest. I've done it once, and it's probably good, but once you've done the real thing, it's shit.
Oh yeah. It's the queues beforehand and the queuing, and
because it takes you 30 seconds to come down the
and then you've got to queue again if you've
got to queue again. Whereas when you're out there for real, you could be on a ski lift for half an hour, get you to the top of the mountain, and then there's more lifts and that. So it makes me sad that it's not a more accessible sport to the working class, if you like, because it's an amazing thing, and I was just really lucky that I got to do it through the military.
So
what was your trip like?
Yeah, it was. So I went to Toronto with work, which sounds glamorous, and it was. No, it was. I've never been to Canada before. I'll tell you, I met it. Work kindly paid for the lounge at Heathrow, which I'm sure you've been Heathrow before, but every time I'm there, it just blows my mind how fucking big that place is.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? Yeah.
Getting from terminal to terminal. You probably might not know him, but Chris Hadfield, Canadian astronaut.
No, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I should have taken
a photo. You took a photo? No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Did you tweet about it or something, or you messaged me or something?
I should have taken a photo. It was just stood there, and I thought, is that Tim? Tim Peake?
How do you? We definitely watch different TV programs because I would never.
I watch a lot of documentaries, but no. Chris Hadfield, you'll recognise him if
I know the British one if I saw him.
Chris Tim Peake. Chris Hadfield. He does a lot with Brian Cox.
Oh, actually, yeah. No, I would recognise him.
Yeah.
There he is. I would have definitely.
That's what he was like in the.
He's dressed in the airport like that in
the
suit.
Lounge, yeah. But because I'm not one really to get I should have got a photo, but I'm not really one to get photos. But it's just mad thinking that he was. It was as if I was at work, so. Because I was in my work thing, I went, Chris, really nice to meet you. It's Chris, isn't it? He went, yeah. I said, it's Tom Wickstead. Really nice to meet you.
As if he's going to be like, oh, nice one, Tom. I know you.
And he said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm going with work. I said, what are you doing here? He said,
really?
Yeah. Flying back home. I went, oh, cool. He said, and then I went, well, I'll see you on the plane, but it's kind of different plane than you're used to.
Oh, you cheesy jokes. Okay, now.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, 2 times at International Space Station as well.
Really?
He's done. You might have seen the adverts online. So there's a company called Masterclass, which basically is an online platform where you can learn to do different things from various different instructors. But like when you say instructors, I mean like they're like Gordon Ramsay, professional sports people, you know, because they don't usually do courses. Like Deadmau5 does one on music production. Yeah, there's
that's cool.
Yeah, it's so I know he's got one of these like classes where he talks about.
Wow, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he'd be cool.
Yeah, it's only 170 quid for the year, and you get everything. Chris Voss teaches the art of negotiation. So he was like an FBI.
That's really interesting. We'll have to have a look at that. Yeah,
he was an FBI, similar to we had
where the hostage negotiator.
Yeah. Which would be pretty cool. There's loads on here. Bob Iger, I think he's the
That's
chief.
a little bit like the reason we started this podcast, though, the masterclass. I just love speaking to people and getting those little snippets, those little nuggets of wisdom that people just, sometimes they don't even mean to drop, and it just, you're like, oh, fucking hell, you're right there.
Yeah. Chief executive, I think he is that Neil Negreanu is, I think, the highest earning poker player in the world. Yeah. Anyway, there's loads. Gordon Ramsay.
And he's on there, yeah.
And Deadmau5.
I love that saying as well, though. You know, you don't know what you don't know. Like, I've never even heard of that. And what a great
teaches space exploration.
Scorsese teaches filmmaking.
Yeah. Oh, they've got some big boys on here for 170 quid.
Yeah.
All of that. Steve Martin teaches comedy. But yeah, Toronto is a place was such a good city. There's something. Obviously, the election was going on at the time when I was over there, which was the best place to be, really.
Really.
Yeah, and it was one of those. It was one of those cities. It's so fucking cold, but apart from the cold, I could see myself living over there. Just everything about, just
Toronto or Canada, as in
both.
What, the culture or the
just it's an expensive city, but just the people. The Canadians are known, aren't they, for being quite pretty nice. Just the just everything about that place. Just I could see myself. The houses. We drove down a little cul-de-sac, and like you have this image of like like a Home Alone house. Like those sort of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And how cool is that?
Yeah.
Big cars everywhere and stuff like that. And but yeah, as a trip itself was quality. And then
you see Niagara Falls.
Yeah, saw Niagara Falls. Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Thoughts. I don't want to do a Carl Pilkington, but.
You seem a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, it was.
I liked it when I went.
I didn't go on one of the boats, No,
I didn't either.
But went on the Canadian side and then walked across that bridge, and then went into the US side. But
it's not in your top 10 places to go.
I've done it. It's one of those where you go there, you see it, and then you tick it off.
Yeah.
So there was 4 of us who went on this trip. We were kind of working, but we didn't have a visa for working. So I'm not nervous when it comes to going across customs or anything like that. But the job that we were doing out there relied on us, all 4 of us getting across through when we landed in Toronto.
Making it sound like a drugs operation. Drug run.
No, but I could just imagine this when I rocked up at the border thing or whatever after I landed, and the guy said, he just started stamping everything like that, blah blah blah. And he looked at me and said, "What are you doing here?" And I went, "A business trip." He said, "What sort of business?" And I went, "Just sales meeting." And he went, "What sort of sales meeting?" And I thought, I'm fucking busted here.
Isn't it funny when you're innocent though, and someone suddenly start,
Yeah. He said, what company do you work for? But anyway, and I got through, and I thought, these fucking reprobates are behind me. These 3 work colleagues aren't going to get through it. But anyway, they
haven't got the chat of Tom to get through that sticky situation.
But I tell you what was cool as well was I watched the Anthony Joshua fight on the plane. Bought Wi-Fi.
On the plane?
Yeah, bought Wi-Fi on the plane. Went
Wow.
on one of the streams, and that I found on Twitter, and
it was okay quality.
Yeah, mate, it was insane. It was quality.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
30 quid to have internet for the full flight. I was just texting people. It's just insane,
That's cool,
isn't it?
Yeah.
But as a trip, and then went to New York just for a meeting, and then darted back to Toronto. But yeah, it was just a cracking. Went up the CN Tower. That was quality.
Yeah.
Definitely a place I'd recommend. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I just done a day trip. I went from New York. I was in New York for 5 days and flew up for the day. So I literally went to Niagara Falls and that was it, back. Didn't see any Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to go back.
Yeah, no, really, really good trip. On New Year's things then, what have you got anything planned that, I hate the word New Year's resolutions, but have you got anything you want to do in 2020? I think is a better way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, a couple of things I want to. It sounds really cheesy, but I want to be happy. I just think that's a big thing, like just to be fucking happy. Like, I think as well
through trips and just through everything, just work life and.
I don't want to have that kind of life where you work to kind of have like a week's holiday and a week of happiness. Like, I want to enjoy my day-to-day life, and I do, to be fair, but I want more of that, more just enjoying taking Albert to school, walking my dog, going to the gym, doing my talks, just more of that happiness. I feel like that's the cheesy kind of bit, but which is important to me.
From an outsider, you seem like you're nailing it though.
I'll be honest, I feel pretty happy. Like
good.
Yeah. Like me day-to-day life, I'm pretty happy with it. I probably get to the age I probably should try and settle down. Probably I should look at doing that the next couple of years. But apart from relationship sides, I think everything else is going quite well. I'm quite happy with where I am.
Any bucket list things?
No, yeah, sort of. So next year, what I want to do. So you'll have an invite for this, and hopefully there'll be people listening who want to come as well. But probably September, I want to put on a summer. It's not really. Is it still summer in September? Is it?
Yeah.
So I want to do a summer ball in September. I'm going to raise some money for the Owen McVeigh Foundation. The Owen McVeigh Foundation was a little boy, Owen, who died of, I think it was leukemia, and his dad, Mark, I've become good friends with. And what was really funny is I've done some work with Charlie's Chance. That's when I first met them. And I met this guy, Mark, who his son died of leukemia, age 12. And I spoke at the event. And obviously I was 12 when my mum died of leukemia, age 36. And I think he might have been 36 actually. Yeah, so it was like that weird kind of, I was 12, my mum was 36, and then he was 36 and his son was 12.
Jesus.
And we became friends since then, and I've done a few speaking gigs for free, and I've given the fee up to them, and I try and give a bit of money to them when I can. So anyway, in September I want to put on a summer ball for them, because it's 20 years since my mum died in September.
Oh, is it? Right, yeah.
So I've done a few of these summer balls before, and they're quite hard to put together. It's like kind of, a black
getting
tie.
A venue, that sort of
thing.
Getting
A venue, getting, prizes together, getting, entertainment sorted, and, selling the tickets. So that'll be a big task. I want to try and do that. And I also want to, on a personal goal, I want to complete the commando tests again. So to join the Marines, you'd have 32 weeks of training, and then at the end you have 4 commando tests. I'd love to have a go at doing them as an amputee. Because I talk all the time about mindset, about resilience, about adaptability, determination. Surely if I was able to do those commando tests again as an amputee, that'll prove that it's true. So
is that possible then?
Yeah, I don't see why not. So I want to get the kind of ball rolling for that kind of come January, and because it's November 2020 will be 10 years since I became an amputee. So I had my leg amputated the 25th of November 2010. So if I could do the commando tests 10 years after becoming an amputee, I think that'd be pretty cool. So my bucket list, big charity night, the commando tests.
I'm sure they'll say yes to that if there's, as sad as this sounds, but if there's PR behind it.
Yeah.
Because if you just did it and no one was filming it, then
yeah.
But like
some sort of little mini documentary and stuff. Yeah, it'd be quite cool to do. So I need to try and kind of pull my finger out and get the ball rolling with that. And then again, just back to the cheesy one, just kind of more happiness, really. Try and build on the success of last year. More speaking gigs. Start to decorate my house a bit last year. Get that done a bit more, and try and continue to be a good dad, and just don't know, what are yours?
So I've booked. I remember you said a while ago about Spain being the place to do skydiving.
You're doing it?
Wait, I'll show you what I'm doing here now on this computer here.
That's actually something I'd like to do. I might have to jump on this with you.
No, I'm doing. See that accident. So I've booked a course, my license to paramotor, which is basically a paraglider with you've got an engine,
big
like propeller,
big fan thing on the back
attached to you on the back. So it's in Spain near Seville.
Wow. You've booked to do your course?
Yeah, my license for it, yeah.
And once you've got your license, how much do one of these things cost?
So the paramotor is about $4,000. You can buy them second hand, so that's brand new, 4.5, 5-ish. And then the wing as well, which is about $2,000. You can buy them all second hand on eBay. So it's the cheapest form of flight as well. You don't need any, just a helmet, obviously. That training, and then off you go. Actually,
a helmet, mate. I don't think a helmet's gonna fucking help.
No, but it's one of the safest forms of flight, purely because of the speed that you're going. You're not going that quick. The one thing that really fucks people up is when they start flying low and hit power lines.
Mate, so you're gonna be all singing, all dancing?
All singing, all dancing. I ripped my coat about 3 hours ago. Here, I'll show you it there. Because I was in a fucking field trying to find some launching spots near me.
You are fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
And once you've got, I'm intrigued by this. So once you've got your license, you can just go off and go and do whenever you want.
Yeah, wherever I want. Yeah. Just find a field and literally just.
How would you start it? How would you get? You need somewhere high or something? Or?
No. Do you want me to show you? Yeah.
You get a little YouTube clip up. What made you want to do this?
I've always wanted to. A long time ago.
Always wanted to fly.
Yeah, always wanted to.
So when are you doing this?
April 12th of April to 26th. It's 12 days.
Wow, mate, fair play to you, mate. Take off. Just put take off or something. So any people over Parbold Hill?
Yeah, that's me.
In the summer, look up. It's fucking Tom Wickstead flying around.
Yeah.
Just get a big legged podcast kind of banner to follow you. Do you know what I mean? That you pull.
Let me just.
I know him. He's Canal. He's rode the Atlantic.
Yeah, he got blown up.
Yeah, I know Kale. He's a nice lad, Kale, South African.
See, he's so for you, well, you could do it where you're running. But he's got like a trike. Loads of people do trikes, have trike ones. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, he's a nice lad, Kale. Oh, yeah, see, this is a Help for Heroes one. That's how it starts then, yeah. I guess you'd run or something, would you?
Yeah, and off he goes.
Oh, mate, I'd love to do something like that. Wow.
Cool, isn't it?
And I guess it's not, how does the engine stay powered?
It's got fuel in it.
Fuel?
So, like, you can go for about 3 hours.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, look.
Well, that's how you started if you're gonna...
That'd be me at 6 a.m. when the wind's calm, pissing the neighbours off.
Oh, mate, you're making me fucking think.
Let's book it now. Have you got your credit card?
Oh, mate.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's so cheap. Obviously, it's it's still.
It's expensive,
yeah.
but cheap in the grand scheme. The fact that you
fly.
What are the things with planes and stuff though? Obviously, you can't do it near an airfield.
Yeah, you can't just go near an airport. So around here, you've got.
Surely they don't just let you fly them around.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
What about police helicopters and stuff?
It's like any form of flight. You just got to keep your eyes open, yeah, and just don't don't follow an EasyJet into Liverpool Airport.
I'd just be circling around Hadfield on match day.
With something attached to your legs or up the Reds.
Oh. Mate, you're getting a leg podcast thing attached to your ankle, mate, when you're doing that.
That'd be good, that, wouldn't it?
Hey, fair play to you, mate. Well done.
Would you do that?
100%, yeah. 100%. I didn't know you could just do it.
Yeah. So, like, round here, obviously, I presume you probably wouldn't do it in, like, a park in Bootle, like, take off.
No, go down the beach or something.
Yeah, go down the beach, or you've got
Crosby Beach.
Just head inland in like Lancashire, like my way.
Just go and find a field in Formby and just.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Formby. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Where would you keep that though? It's quite big, I'm guessing.
Well, it folds up. The wing folds up, obviously, tiny, and then that you can just fit it in the back of your car.
Do you reckon that fits in your car?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you. Loads of people just sling them in the back of your car.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great day out that'd be though. What are you up to? Just going flying around fucking Liverpool for a bit. How high did he go?
People have gone up to 15,000 feet. Look at that little smart car.
Wow.
Yeah, 15,000. If you ever watched, Channel 4 did a documentary with the Bear Grylls when he was on one of them and he flew over Everest with it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so...
I'd tell you what, though, it sounds stupid, but do you have a parachute on you or anything?
You've got a reserve, yeah.
Do you?
In case that wing fails, yeah. But I mean, the chance of it actually failing is like, is so like it's not going to happen. But things that happen with wings being collapsed is like you come across lee waves. So like if so basically bad wind or turbulent wind that the wing can't handle. But you're not flying in a storm, So
if it was a rainy day, I'd go tomorrow instead. And power lines, though, would be a scary one, wouldn't it?
Well, they're the major killer. Is people doing hedge? So there's a big thing with people go hedge hopping through fields. That you just basically literally that high above the hedge and just nailing it through fields and stuff. And so obviously I
want to take a bit more of an interest in this now over the next coming months.
Yeah, get on the course with me, mate. 12. What are you doing?
I might do.
12th and 26th of April. It's in nice little holiday as well. I
want to do one of my mates, Nikki, was skiing with her. She's got friends in Portugal who do the skydiving, so she's put me onto that.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing in
April. Actually, Liverpool will be winning the league by then. I'm not fucking going out the country then.
But let me grab up some of these.
That's a good effort, that though, mate. And you know what? As well, it's inspiring. I get inspired easily when I hear stories like that because I think he's fucking gone out and done it. Do you know what I mean? No one hands you anything, do they? Do you know what I mean? You've got to fucking go and...
Yeah.
No one's going to go, hey, Tom, get an email. Listen, mate, it's a paragliding course there. I'll put your name down on it. Just fucking come along. You fucking got to get off your ass and do it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I think as well about you talk about New Year's resolutions? I think we're all a little bit, maybe a bit too cool and a bit kind of too ego to kind of do the basics sometimes. And, everything. I was speaking to Paul Cheetham, and he's another one who dropped a load of words of wisdom, and he talks about having a solid foundation. Do you know what I mean? And whatever you build and whatever you're working towards, you've got to have a solid foundation. And I think I kind of think of like doing things right, doing things properly, and having these big goals, but working towards them properly, not trying to wing it. Do you know what I mean? Like having things in place properly to then launch yourself into do them. And a big thing that I'm definitely guilty of is almost you think you're too good for something, and you think about anything, you think about that astronaut, you think about flying a plane, they all start off with basic checklists.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, that's the ultimate foundation, isn't it? Like, when you wake up in the morning, have a to-do list, things you've got to do. And I think as you get a bit cocky or a bit good at your job or whatever, you just think, I fucking don't need a checklist, I know what I've got to do. But yeah, when a pilot gets in his plane, he has a little checklist of things he's got to do.
Yeah.
So a big thing for me, I want to start doing more to-do lists. Do you know what I mean? Like waking up, fucking, I don't know, it might be basic things.
Task 1, task 2, yeah.
Whether you even write down, make your bed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whether you get the wash on, fucking dog out, gym, emails, all these little things. And I think, but sometimes you think, I know I do anyway, you think you're too good for a to-do list. I don't need that. I know that I've got to do these things. But you look at some of the biggest jobs in the world, they still have checklists.
Yeah, they do.
Still have to-do lists.
Even though that pilot's been flying thousands of hours.
Yeah. So,
still has that checklist to run through.
You're never too big to have a checklist, I don't think, are you? So that's one thing I want to try and start doing a bit more of.
That's a really good point, that, yeah. You've just reminded, when you mentioned Paul Cheetham, you just reminded me of an interesting stat that I think puts things into... Well, hear me out here. So, someone said this to me over the Christmas period. We got on the conversation of millionaires and billionaires, right?
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
What?
How long's a million seconds?
Yeah.
Have we spoke about this on the
podcast?
podcast? Because I've spoke about it to loads of people, and it's so fucking fascinating.
It is. The inconceivable amount of difference between
someone, you know the answer, but yeah,
who is a millionaire versus...
So yeah, the point is, yeah, just exactly that, just the difference of, because you think, don't you, a millionaire's a billionaire, whatever. So a million seconds equates to how long in time? Well, you know the answer.
11 seconds.
What? No, a million seconds.
Oh, a million seconds is 11 days.
Is 11 days.
Sorry.
But a billion seconds, I'd think maybe then about 22 days or something, maybe. I don't know. Like,
times it by 10,
like
double it.
3 months or something.
Yeah.
30 odd years, isn't it?
Yeah, 31 years.
31 years. What the fuck? That's the difference in a millionaire and a billionaire.
And I think a trillion is
trillions.
because Apple recently became one of the first $1 trillion companies, and I think a trillion's 31,000 years. I think that's pretty much a.
You talk about the complete wealth disparity in the world, and I seen about Joe Rogan was talking about. They reckon there's Saudi princes that are trillionaires.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. 1 million to 1 billion. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years. So,
puts it into perspective.
That is just madness, isn't it?
Obviously, it's hard to become a millionaire.
But you think if you're a millionaire, it's so much then harder to become a billionaire.
Oh, yeah. I think there's, I'm sure, but I've read somewhere there's 149 billionaires in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
Which
again, I don't want to get into politics again and all that, but again, that is sad, that isn't it? When you look at the comparison with just what it takes to be a billionaire, how long it is, we've got 150 of these people in the country, and yet some of the shit that you see going on with homelessness and people being skint, and it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fucking comparison is mad.
It's insane, isn't it? Absolutely insane.
People during a lifetime, the average person won't even see £1 million go into the bank. If you, not even what they spend, I mean, just as what gets put into their bank.
Yeah, I think the average salary in the UK is about 23 grand, I think, on average.
So 5 years, 100 grand.
So say you're working for 50 years, 1.1 million.
You'd make 1.15. That's just income. That's not what you're fucking spending. And that's not before you're taxed as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So after tax, actually, you wouldn't even hit $1 million.
No, you wouldn't.
So, and that's in a lifetime. And there's people there at 30 who are billionaires.
Yeah. And there's Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and
Zuckerberg was the first billionaire, wasn't he?
He was I tell you I think one of the youngest billionaires at the moment is it Kylie
the
Jenner?
Kardashian.
Yeah. From her makeup line, yeah.
From her sister making a porno, let's be honest.
Yeah, pretty much. But
that's not saying I want my sisters to make a porno and become rich, but
it does put it in perspective, and also it's like I think Jeff Bezos. I mean, Jeff. If did you ever watch the Bill Gates documentary on Netflix?
Yeah.
The
3 parts and stuff.
Yeah. And just the way that, I remember seeing he just donated 100-something million, which was just just that being able to it's inconceivable the amount of being able to just dump that amount of money and then not even
you can't comprehend it.
No, you can't. So what I was going to show you was some of these.
I'm interested to see this.
I sent some things to myself, which I thought was quite interesting.
Well, funnily enough, just before you start that, I looked at, it must be started now, Andy Robinson, the Liverpool player.
The decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Funny, isn't it?
Quality,
actually, just before as well, we start on this, as this is going out on the 6th. Anyone who's watching, listening to this, I will be making an appearance on the One Show this week. I think it's going to be on either the 6th, 7th or 8th, or sometime this week. I'll be on the One Show. And it's the same idea. How you started this decade and how you're finishing it.
Really, yeah.
And obviously I started this decade with 2 legs as a Marine, being told I can't have kids, and I'm ending the decade as an amputee, now as a motivational speaker with a little 5-year-old.
It's mad, isn't it?
And we've done a little, I think, 3 or 4 minute video. That's going to be on the One Show this week, so check that out.
Very good. Okay, now hitting the One Show. You were going to hit the One Show, weren't you, for the cooking thing or something?
Yeah, but then obviously it wasn't fucking cool enough that time.
What I will say just before I click this is, this past year, some of the most crazy things you think of that we can't live without have been invented this past decade, from obviously 2010 through to 2019/20. So this past 10 years. What I also thought was interesting is how much things can change, because I don't know if you watched the Gavin and Stacey episode, the reunion thing on Christmas Day. But if you look at James Corden when he first started recording those thing, which was back 10 years ago, 2008, I think it was, something around that, I think, 2009, versus 2019 US talk show host, absolutely killing it. I've got millions and millions of views of all the carpool karaoke and everything like that, and his life is just fucking completely changed, because he went through a bit of a dip, didn't he? I think did he go drinking or something? I can't remember, but I just thought it was a
well, yeah, just it is mad to think I think of fucking my life 10 years ago. Everyone's will have had crazy change in 10 years, I think, in some way. But I think that's what gives you hope, and that's the inspiring thing about it. You don't know where you're going to be in 10 years. Like, you fucking... Do you know what I mean? Anything could be possible in 10... Anything.
That Andy Robertson photo, what club was he playing for there?
In the Scottish Premier, I think.
He played for Hull, didn't he?
Hibernia, it might have been, I think, maybe. Let's try and find it.
So these are the things that did not exist, that have been created in the past decade: Uber, Instagram, Snapchat, Bitcoin, iPad, Facebook Messenger, Kickstarter, Pinterest, not too fussed about that, Angry Birds, WhatsApp, Tinder,
Candy Crush,
Apple Watch. So like Tinder is
so let's go through these. Which one you've used? I used an Uber yesterday. Instagram, I've been on it just now.
Yeah.
I'll be on Snapchat. I haven't got. I never really got into Snapchat.
I had to delete it after a little problemo. But,
okay.
Best not go into.
Say no more.
It was it happened on a stag do. So, but then I didn't realise I had someone on it, and it nearly ended in a
unsavoury manner.
It nearly ended up in him not getting married to his missus. But anyway.
Oh fucking hell. Bitcoin, I've had a little dabble in Bitcoin. iPad, I've got an iPad. Facebook Messenger app, I use that. Kickstarter, I know of it, but I've not.
Yeah, I've never. No. Pinterest, I know of it, but don't use it. Angry Birds, I don't know why that's on there.
Spent many fucking hours playing that though. WhatsApp, you use every fucking day. Candy Crush, I've played that. Tinder, I've used that. Apple Watch, I've got one. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, I don't know why that was being put on there,
but you think there, like Instagram, it's such a daily thing. Who knows in 10 years what you'll be...
Yeah.
You know.
And the way the guy who invented Instagram, Kevin something or other, literally sold it to Facebook for, I think it was 300 million or something. In fact, I think it was probably more actually. And he'd created it something like 628 days prior to it being sold. It's just insane how things can change like that.
So he's just made like 2 years, he's making 150 mil a year.
Uber, Travis Kalanick, the chief exec, has stood down now, but he started Uber with a friend of his called Gavin Camp, I think, and he's just sold all of his shares because of what happened with anyway, but he sold all his shares in 2.3 billion.
Here's one for you. Would you feel, so you create Instagram, you sell it for 300 mil, and then 2 years later, let's say Facebook then sell it for $1 billion. Are you the type of person who'd feel hard done by that you've only made 300 mil, or would you think, fuck it, I've made it, I've got it, I'm fucked off?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I know what you're thinking though, but I wouldn't have. The thing is though, it's easier said than done, because I would probably now if I sold that for 300 million and then it sold 3 years down the line for, let's say, 4 billion, right? So I've got 300 million now. I'll be living a 300 million pound lifestyle. I'd imagine I wouldn't be living in the same house I'm in at the moment. So
would there not be no bitterness though if it gets sold for 4 billion?
I'm used to that lifestyle, and probably I imagine me being me, because I know what I'm like, I'd be like, you know that yacht I saw in that harbour the other day? Fucking, if only I'd waited 3 years, I'd have 2 point whatever billion.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's the thing, not to get too caught up at stuff like that. You've got to just be grateful, isn't it, for what you've got.
Do you know you follow Gary V, don't you?
I haven't followed him. He done me head in a bit, to be honest. He does me head in a bit. I don't like that. It's too cheesy. Just too.
Well, so he passed up on Uber's Series A and Series B funding when they were first getting started, And I think if he'd have put on, I think he constantly goes on about it. He doesn't stop fucking shutting up about it. But if he'd have put $100,000 in, I think it would be 500-600 million now. It was something ridiculous.
It's crazy,
Something
isn't it?
ridiculous. There's stories with Facebook of people being paid in Facebook stock.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So there was a guy who painted the Facebook office, an artist, and they were going to give him $60,000 for all the artwork that he'd produced. He said, "No, I'll take shares." Anyway, he sold them. Well, obviously, after they went public for 200 mil.
And he was just a painter and paper.
It was a bit more than a painter and decorator.
But you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I know what I think as well. The funny thing about that is people who are investing. I hate the saying, the harder you work, the more that's a load of shit. It's all about working smarter. It's not harder. Do you know what I mean? I think I've said it before. The hardest I've ever worked in my life was when I was in the Marines, working fucking 18 hours a day, having no sleep, physically exhausted. I think I was getting paid about £900 a month. Working me fucking ass off for £900 a month. Now I've do the speaking. I work for an hour and earn more money than that type thing. It's not about how hard. I know people who work so fucking hard. It's not about that. It's about luck as well.
Yeah.
I know loads of millionaires who are fucking there because of right place, right time. Like that that design.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That is lucky, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously good designer and he's got the gig on a.
Who
knows where he did? It could be someone who worked in Facebook and he went, "Oh, I know our Tom. He knows a lad who does a bit of painting."
Yeah.
It could be. Do you know what I mean?
It could be. Yeah. I'm trying to find his name here. Facebook.
I seen
David Cho. Here he is. Artist who painted Facebook's first office took stock instead of cash, and now he's worth 200 million.
So you could say that's clever. It's good foresight, isn't it? But he's fucking lucky as well.
He is lucky, very, very lucky.
And also, fair play to him because he could have said, "Give me some stock," and it would have went shit.
Yeah.
And he's just done a job for free, hasn't he?
Just had a punt, yeah.
Fair play to him. It is a bit lucky though as well.
I wanted also, what I thought would be quite interesting is some of these stories of the past decade. So I just came across this when I was just at Family Do because the board started to bore the fuck out of me. So some of the crazy...
It's a good little trip down memory lane, this, because there'll be someone here that you just think, "Oh, fucking I remember that."
What I couldn't believe is some of the crazy shit that's happened this decade is things like the rise and fall of ISIS. You even think about the Paris attacks back in 2015. I don't know if you've watched the Netflix documentary that... I fucking love Netflix. They do some cracking
Brilliant,
stuff.
isn't it?
They did a 3-part documentary on it and it was just insane. But so we've got...
When was Netflix out? That's surely got
Netflix
to be
was started ages ago, like 2001.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I'll find.
Nah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
That's only just came big though, hasn't it?
97.
What? It's not been that big for that long though,
No.
surely, has it?
I feel like ever since this past decade's been Netflix decade, isn't it, by far. So we've got so let's just scroll down here. So if we can get
Oh wow, the Iceland volcano.
Okay, I forgot about that.
That's one that caused loads of chaos, wasn't it, with the flights? Oh, can I just say on the volcano, so I went to see my best friend in New Zealand. That volcano erupted, and the fucking kid who took the guide was caught up in it. He's a lovely kid. He was, he's 18 or 19.
Your guide?
Yeah, my guide. So I was on that volcano 3 months previous to it erupting, and the guide who took me that day was a young lad, only 18 or 19, really, really passionate about the volcano, about nature, about like climate change, about just a really proud Kiwi. Loved his job, loved being a tour guide, knew everything he could about everything there was to know about the volcano. Really nice kid. Got him to take a nice few pictures of me and my friends, and then 3 months later he's caught in it. Got something like 70% burns.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I need to find out actually how he's doing. I think they set up like a Just Giving page for him and stuff. And
so he was up there when it all kicked off.
He was on the island when it erupted. Yeah.
Was there no warning or anything like that to it, or?
Well, When I was there, they said that there are things. There's like
tremors that happen before.
scientific things there that can tell you if something may happen, but obviously it's just happened too quick, and because a lot of people died.
The only thing I know is from watching Dante's Peak is that they do have a few there's like earth tremors before, isn't there? But
be fucking scary that, because it's like a half an hour boat ride, so you're fucking it's like 30 mile away, I think it is actually, so it might be a bit longer. So it's not as if you can run anywhere. You're fucking stuck on this island.
Fuck, you know.
Yeah, that caused a lot of flight chaos, that, didn't it?
Yeah, mate, thousands and thousands of flights were cancelled. Fucking insane.
Period of 6 days.
Literally, there was no flights over the UK at all in parts of Europe.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Chilean miners.
Oh, wow, God, remember that?
Right, I saw possibly the best ever fancy dress on a night out in Liverpool, where there was like a stag do and they'd all gone as Chilean miners after they were all rescued. But it was just,
they were all heroes, weren't they, when they came out? They since made a film about that, haven't they?
I think some of them are trying to haven't been given any money from the government, and there's loads of stuff
really?
about it. Yeah, there's loads of stuff, and some of them are suffering from PTSD.
How long were they stuck down there? 69 days. Fucking hell.
In pitch black.
33 men were trapped for 69 days after the collapse of the copper and gold mine which they'd worked. That was 2010.
And they were building all those. They didn't think they were alive, did they? And they would a bit like the Thai cave thing that happened with the boys or whatever. They'd brought in experts, and they were thinking of where they were, and
they need to get into a bit of motivational speaking. It's fucking good good story to be told there.
69 days, yeah.
Fucking hell. Oh yeah, the film came out in 2016. Wow.
For all 33 of them for 69 days, right? They must have had some rations, but they obviously quickly go complete pitch black, not knowing whether you're going to get out alive. Thinking oxygen's probably running out.
That's proper human spirit, that, isn't it? Wow.
That's insane, that. Fukushima.
What was that?
The tsunami that obviously hit the in Japan, that hit the
I can't really remember that.
It was a tsunami that you'll know some of the footage from it, that hit the power plant, the nuclear power plant, that set off that huge big
the big explosion.
Yeah. I don't know why I clicked on that, but set off the huge what's mad about that story is that the exclusion zone is still in place.
Really?
And it's like 130 kilometers. And it's like, when you put it into perspective, someone had drew a circle around Sellafield, obviously the nuclear power plant, in Cumbria way. And it was like Leeds would have to be completely uninhabited. It was just insane when you put it into perspective of something that you can relate to in this country.
Yeah.
Killed over 15,000 people.
Now 15,000 people died. Wow.
Forget, don't you?
Yeah, I can't really remember that instance as much as some of the others. I just always think of the clean-up operation for something like that, like 15,000 people dead.
Yeah.
Like, how long does that even take to fucking...
It's mad, isn't it? Killing of Osama bin Laden, 2011.
Oh, mate, did you see that? Did you see the thing, the compilation someone's put between Trump and Obama?
No.
So when obviously Obama, when they killed bin Laden, and he was like very serious, wasn't it, at the White House? You know, we now can confirm Osama bin Laden has been killed. Very professional, very well spoken. And then the other day, Trump done one about killing that guy from ISIS, and he's like, "Yep, we got him. The little cockroach. We got him. We killed him good." It's like so different about it's funny.
I went past Trump Towers in New York, and the whole back street around the side of it is all closed off.
Why?
Well,
protesters and stuff.
No, it's just for security, I imagine.
Really?
Yeah, just loads of police cars there. It's all blocked off. They've got guys there armed to the gills at the front.
I seen such a funny thing about it. Was this white woman and this black guy in America. He made a video saying that they'd been married 20 years, and they were like, "We've been married 20 years and we don't see any racism here in America. It doesn't exist." And then someone's quote retweeted it and said, "I've not been stung by a wasp in 20 years, so therefore wasps don't exist."
Oh yeah. I saw that. That was today, actually. I saw it.
Twitter's fucking makes me
It's
howl.
quality,
It's so
isn't it?
funny how quick people are. Yeah.
Thing is with Twitter, though, I started to spend a lot of time,
Too
especially
much time on it, yeah.
the Haiti earthquake.
Yeah, funny one about, well, not funny, funny strong word, but that Haiti earthquake, I visited the Dominican Republic a few years later, maybe 2016, and very religious on the island. So, I don't know if you know, but on Haiti and Dominican are on the same island.
Yeah.
People in the Dominican Republic are very Christian, they're Catholic. People in Haiti are very much voodoo, black magic. And the people in the Dominican are convinced that the earthquake hit Haiti because of the black magic and the voodoo that they believe in.
Versus
and they don't
Dominican.
believe in it. And in the Dominican, the earthquake never really affected that. And they think it's because of God and Jesus and everything, and Mary. And it hit Haiti because they don't believe in it. And they believe in black magic and the spirits and the voodoos and dolls and stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Did you go to? You didn't go to. You just went to Dominican.
Yeah, I just went to Dominican Republic, yeah.
What's the cap? Punta Cana? No, am I thinking somewhere?
Remember when
I went on holiday there.
Remember we had Doc Lambert on the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
He went to Haiti, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one was a big one, wasn't it?
Oh, fucking hell. MH370.
I thought that went missing, wasn't it? Yeah. Where'd that go? In the Indian Ocean, wasn't it?
Somewhere, yeah.
Did they ever find that?
No.
Really, still not found it?
Nothing.
That's sad, isn't it?
It's mad.
Wow, this is mad going fucking...
How mad is it that...
Nah, they did find it,
no,
surely. It's not been washed up anywhere.
No, nothing, mate. They can't find it.
They have.
No,
they
can't.
have.
No.
Something's been
They've
washed
found,
up.
yeah, one little part, but that's it. They haven't found anything. No bodies, nothing.
You'd hate that if that was your family member, wouldn't you?
Twitter, as per usual, Twitter was awash with wild theories.
Nah, you'd... God.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Yeah, Malaysian horn, yeah. Fucking hell. It's just the not knowing. I mean, obviously you know that you've passed away, but it's like you not having a body to...
It's insane, isn't it? There's a company called Inmarsat, I think it's called, who were able to track... So basically the engines pinged off signals every so often to this, to Boeing, on like certain things of the engine, just like a normal thing that all planes do. And they were able to have a line of roughly where it might be, but still the line is fucking thousands of miles.
Pretty big, yeah. Pretty big line.
Pretty hard to get to start searching there, but
people should tweet us as well after the podcast, or message any other things that maybe weren't as big as this but were pretty significant.
I've got there's another page which there's a few on there which you kind of forget about that's happened in and then obviously a month later they had the Malaysian Airlines 777 that was hit with the Russian missile over Ukraine.
Do you remember that pilot that committed suicide over the Alps as well?
From that German airline.
You just take it for granted, don't you, that people are going to do the job well, and any personal issues they've got going on in their life doesn't affect when they're doing a job.
Yeah.
And then you forget that actually a pilot could be fucking struggling one day and think, fuck this.
And if you ever notice now, whoever sitting near the front of a plane, you'll always notice that if one of them needs to go to the toilet, an air stewardess or someone, an air stewardess or steward, has to go into the cockpit. So there's two people in the cockpit, not just one, yeah. Just because of... we mentioned that, the Thai cave.
Remember that? It was a British guy went over and helped, didn't he?
Yeah, and got called a pedo by Elon Musk.
I've seen that recently, actually, yeah.
And
but the British guy tried to sue him, didn't he?
Yeah, and he lost.
He lost. But he went a bit unrealistic, didn't he? He tried to sue him for fucking like $500 million for calling him a pedo. Like, fucking hell, mate, come on.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to remember, pick your fight, and I imagine Elon Musk can afford much better lawyers than he can.
Yeah.
And surely reduce, like, if you're going to go in hard, try and get an out of court settlement.
Yeah.
Where he look, I'll give you $4 million to shut up.
Yeah.
Not
I'd
half
get called a pedo for $4 million.
Yeah, not half a bill. And what we left to now? Is that all of them? Right. So I do have another. I found another one which also has some news things on here that
obviously, it's impossible to look to the future, but like, just I wonder what like we've got in store for us.
This
you know what I mean? The next few years.
What I do think we've got in store for us is obviously it's the US economy is very much tied to it's tied to the, whether we like it or not, it's tied to every economy, and it's the longest stretch that we've had without a recession. Obviously, the last recession was 2008, and so it's now 11 years, nearly 10 years. Sorry, 11, nearly 12 years.
You think one's on its way?
This decade, yeah, it has to be, yeah, definitely.
You know what? You know, as much as Trump gets slagged, and I don't know anything about US politics, but apparently the economy's booming,
Mate,
isn't it?
It's flying. Absolutely flying.
Like,
Absolutely flying.
Everyone, I wonder what you'd... in an ideal world, you wouldn't have either of it, but I wonder what people would prefer. Have a guy who's straight-laced, really nice, you know, he's not racist, he's not a dick, and he's, you know, well-liked by everyone, but shit at his job, and the economy's shit, and everything's shit. Or could people go, you know what, yeah, he's a fucking knob, he's got an orange face, and he's fucking weird, and he's racist, and but actually, the country's flying. I wonder what people would prefer.
Yeah.
That was, and again, I don't want to go into the whole politics thing again, but that was what because I've not really, you know, I'm Labour because I'm from Liverpool and all that, and I'd like to think that people, again, I don't even know enough about it, but I'm Labour. But what I thought was interesting was people didn't want to like slate Corbyn, and people give me football analogies because I just said Corbyn fucking, obviously he got absolutely spanked, didn't he? He's overwhelmingly won. And I was just kind of like, that's fucking Corbyn's fault, and people were kind of going, using football analogies, which I thought was, some of them were alright, was like, you know, even when Roy Hodgson was in charge of Liverpool, you still supported Liverpool. And I thought, yeah, I get that. You know, if you're Labour, then support Labour no matter who's in charge, and I understand that. But I also remember when Roy Hodgson was in charge, I fucking hated Roy Hodgson, and I was like, you're shit, fucking move over. And people don't seem to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, because they're like, oh, he's a nice guy, and he sticks up for... And that's all great, but you fucking got to be good at your job.
Yeah.
And you've got to surround yourself by people who are good at jobs. And fucking, you know, Jurgen Klopp could be the nicest guy in the world, but if he's shit at his job and he's got shit people around him, it's fucking no good to me, is it? Or you support Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. What I will say, from obviously I was 5 hours behind, and from Twitter alone, I thought 100% Labour are going to win.
Same.
100%.
But that's down to all the what's it called, the how people who you follow type thing.
Yeah.
Who must maybe be Labour or something, or
Yeah,
the people you're. Because I was the same. I thought fucking hell, Labour might smash this year.
Yeah. So riots in England.
Riots. Remember that? Oh, that was sad. That when that big building burnt down in Tottenham. It was Tottenham, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
North London.
And then it spread to Manchester. I don't know what. So I used to work in the Arndale Centre in 2011. My mate had a little stand, so I used to help him out on this stand in Arndale, and there was a real sense of that. We hung around when it all kicked off in Manchester, and it was like if there's ever a feeling that the police have completely lost control of everything, that was the day.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing there was a guy who we sort of made friends with, who was taking photos to then sell to a newspaper or whatever. And people were like trying to rip his camera. People were just going into Tesco, not giving a Frenchman's fuck, just walking in, coming out with anything. It was just like, it was mind-boggling. I had a funny story actually. We were just hanging around, and there was a row of police horses, and behind me there was like a road road sign, you know, like saying roadworks ahead, but like one of the ones that they can just pick up and move. There was like 2 meters behind me. I had my work stuff on, and then I was just watching because it's like, how often just, you know, and these horses started running, and fucking ran behind me, tripped over the road sign.
The horse did?
No, I did.
Oh.
Slammed the deck. I had my almost stuck my laptop in my bag and everything. And I've never been more humiliated with 400 people just fucking laughing.
I remember, mate, when all that was going on, a forklift truck got robbed from a construction site, a building site, and got rammed into the local post office.
Fucking hell.
And I put on Twitter, fucking hell, you got loads of Twitter police, I don't know if you remember, and I was like, fucking hell, the post office in Bootle has just been rammed by a forklift truck. It wasn't a forklift truck, no, it was a big massive digger it was. And someone was like, someone tweeted me like, stop spreading false rumours, there's enough trouble going on without this. And I just remember taking a photo of this fucking digger parked in a fucking post office and was like, there you go, mate. It's quite funny.
Yeah, it was mad, yeah. It was mad. And it all spread, didn't it, from that guy being shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
US, so 2012 US real.
I liked Obama. He
Obama.
was cool. I'd have him at my dinner table. If one of those kind of you pick 5 people. I think he's cool.
Boston bombings.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. So one of the people who were disabled on the ski trip last week was one of the Boston bombing survivors.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to meet them. Yeah, they were cool.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That film,
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg,
Good
yeah.
film, that,
Good
innit?
film, yeah. Good film.
Yeah.
It's mad that. And now they had to try and hunt them down. Him
got shot on a boat thing in the end, didn't he?
Hiding in
a boat.
Peaches, the death of Peaches Geldof, fucking hell.
I can't say I really remember that, to be honest.
She had a heroin overdose, I'm pretty sure.
What's she famous for? Bob Geldof's daughter?
Yeah. And then her mum also had a heroin overdose. It's a fucking mad drug, heroin, isn't it?
Did you see George Michael's sisters committed suicide on the 3rd year of his death?
I feel like I do, yeah. I feel like I did hear something, but...
Yeah, apparently it was just the 3rd year anniversary or something and she's killed herself on that.
Jesus.
I can't remember Peaches Geldof instant.
It's fucking mad heroin, isn't it? The way that, jeez, you don't realise that... Imagine just seeing her in the street, you would not think that she's...
No. Like Jockey said, though, on his podcast, you can be at...
Functioning.
Yeah.
We talked about that, didn't we? 2015 Paris attacks. I'm sure 150 people or so died. 130.
Wow.
It's insane, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when you think, I know it sounds awful to say, but you'd expect it if it's that's just happened recently, hasn't it? In what country did that big bomb go off? In Syria, was it? Or it was in Mogadishu.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but you'd expect stuff like that to go in a western city like Paris. You don't expect 130 people to be killed, do you?
And then the Bataclan as well. I think the majority of there was I spoke about it in the Netflix documentary, which is just
it was astonishing. That
it's insane. It all kicked off, didn't it, by the stadium, and then it all just went. Someone tried to get into the stadium, but the security guards didn't let them in for some reason.
Yeah, there was a bomb, wasn't there, or something in a truck?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Been a bit of a crazy 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't start on that.
No, EU referendum 2009.
We have fucking passed that one. Passed the fucking election.
Fucking general election. No.
Theresa May strikes a Brexit deal. Pass.
General election, no.
Pass.
That's it. I think that's it.
Been a bit of a mad 10 years. I'm sure every 10 years has got its crazy stuff going on, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, look at the last... there was another one when I was trying to find stuff from the decade. There was another one which obviously was from 2001 to 2009. Sorry, 2000 to 2009. And you had 9/11. You had... What was mad was that in the year 2000, AT&T, the American network, introduced texting.
Wow.
Fucking mad, isn't it? You had the London bombings, 7/7 bombings.
Yeah. Well, I started...
The start of the Iraq War.
Yeah, well, that year started, 2000, obviously, me watching 9/11 on the TV, and then ended it, 2009, with me being blown up because of a fucking direct consequence of that 9/11. So I was watching things in 2001 thinking, that's a million miles away from my life, doesn't ever affect me. And then by the end of that decade... I'm an amputee or I'd just been blown up because of the results of the start of that decade.
Okay, mad, isn't it? You forget, don't you, how you directly impacted.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the decade then.
What can we look forward to in this next decade then with the podcast? You're enjoying it? You've enjoyed it? We're nearly a year. We need to do like a year review, don't we, in February?
Yeah, fucking love it.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's been cracking. So if you think the variety of guests we've had on...
Yeah, it's been pretty diverse.
I always forget. I forget the conversations we have sometimes, and that's why when I go through and go on these cameras or whatever and do the audio and then fling it on YouTube, it's because you're kind of in the moment, but like you're not in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes you forget the conversation you forget the whole conversation, but you forget like, oh, that was a good point. That was a really good point, or the gist of things.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get up. In fact,
what you know what's really cool, more so about I've had like a documentary out on ITV and I've had the book, and they've both been really nice in different ways. What I love about the podcast, I suppose the podcast and the book are a bit similar. You'd think having a documentary on ITV would be cool, and it was, but people watched that week and then forgot about it. The great thing is about the book I've found and also the podcast is people catch up to it on different times. I literally had a message yesterday, someone saying the Tony Dodson fucking episode brilliant, you need to get him back on again. We done it, how long ago did we do that?
Yeah.
About people like message me, I've just bought your book, it's amazing. So it's nice that it's current, isn't it? You can go back to it whenever you want, and like you say, we've done some cracking episodes.
Some absolute belting. By far, in terms of numbers, obviously the Lee Butler ones are most popular.
Yeah.
By a long stretch. Things like the hostage negotiator, Paul Cheetham, your doc.
Surgeon, yeah.
You've got Ian, who you were blown up with.
Yeah, I thought Danny Nichol was great as a bit of Scouse entrepreneur, along with Webster and learning about the boss nights.
You forget about Tubes.
Tubes. That was one that maybe because it was we should push that out again, because that was a great one.
It was, yeah.
Learning about him dealing with alcohol.
I want to listen back to that just to see, because that was our first ever time doing anything together, so it was a bit like...
Yeah. I enjoyed it though still, it was great.
Yeah, it was good. And it was surreal going for a drink with...
Robbie Fowler
after it. Yeah, fucking mad that.
Yeah, no, John Bishop, fucking
John Bishop.
John Bishop sitting there. Yeah, no, we'll got loads more to come, and main thing is we're both enjoying it, and thankfully people are as well, so...
Can't wait for this year as well, considering the 40 or so we did last year. Managed to squeezing it in between work and stuff like that.
And that is the only thing, like say when people are joking, people asking what's happened with the podcast, it's just hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me and me little girl, you're working crazy hours. The travelling you do for work is fucking mad, isn't it?
It is a bit mad, yeah.
And then getting people to come in the evenings as well. It's tough. One person was dying to get on and speak to her probably once, twice a week is Eunice. She's fucking filming all around the world, being a stunt woman. I cannot wait to get her on.
I follow her on Twitter now, yeah.
She's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
She's game. Tony Dodson is keen for a round 2.
Yeah, we need to, yeah.
There's loads of people, but it's just time.
Yeah.
But it will happen.
Yeah. Right.
Thanks for sticking with us, people.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay.
We're back.
2020, we are back.
All right. Cheers, mate. Thank you.